What's good with you fellas? T-Rey the Collector back here with another Blu-ray haul video. This time we're going to be going through my January hauls, first month of the year. We got some good stuff here. It's been a little bit. Reason being is last week I sat down to record this video and then I got towards the end and realized the microphone had disconnected somewhere along the line. So about half of the video didn't have audio. And I was just so frustrated that trying to record it wasn't an option at that point. Just decided to hold off and calm down and then get it going today, which is a week from when that happened. But yeah, picked up quite a bit of stuff this last month in January. A lot of whatnot stuff, a couple new releases, a couple in-person pickups, and a couple Amazon pickups. So a little bit of everything this month. It's been a busy month this month too. You guys will see in the February haul that I've picked up quite a bit of stuff as well. I'm very excited for that one, and I'll kind of explain more of that as we go through because some of the hauls lead into next month's hauls, so I'm pretty excited about that. Finally excited to be getting this video done since it's been well over a month since I posted the December Blu-ray haul, so very excited to finally be back on here having a little bit of time to film this. There is going to be a toy haul this month too. Picked up quite a bit of toys as well as Blu-rays, as you guys will see, so be sure to stick around for that. But without wasting any more time, let's just go ahead and jump into the stuff I picked up this month. Alright, so I'm going to start off with the whatnot stuff because there is a lot of it. One of the first things I picked up on whatnot this month was Anchorman. I've been needing Anchorman to add to the collection. Just one of those things where I kept putting it off and putting it off, wasn't in a huge hurry to get it, and then saw it on Whatnot going for $2, so decided to go ahead and pick that up this month. Then up next, one that I wasn't really ever looking for to add to my collection, but then saw it on Whatnot going for a pretty good price. I think I ended up paying like $7 or $8 for 8th Grade, directed by Bo Burnham. Love Bo Burnham. I think he's a great stand-up comedian and very creative dude, so was very happy to get this. I remember watching this and not being like blown away by it, but enjoying it enough to where, you know, I'd watch it again, and definitely added it to the collection solely because it's a Bo Burnham movie, but still a really interesting movie. And then up next we got some Jean-Claude Van Damme to add to the collection. You guys know I collect all things Jean-Claude Van Damme, all things Arnold Schwarzenegger, so definitely needed this one. I had never heard of this movie. It's called JCVD. I watched it not too long after I got it, and I was pretty impressed by this. I believe he directed it, I want to say. Yeah, he's an executive producer on this, and it's a really interesting movie. It's kind of a meta movie. He's essentially playing himself as his real self and not the actor Jean-Claude Van Damme, and basically gets into some trouble that he's framed for robbing a bank, and it's a really interesting movie. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend it. It is in his native language, so you will be reading a lot of subtitles, but there are some parts in English as well, so if you don't mind reading some subtitles, I do recommend watching this. It's a very interesting movie. And then up next, we got Talladega Nights. Went pretty heavy on the Will Ferrell this month. Once I got Anchorman, I was like, oh yeah, I need that Will Ferrell movie too. And I think I was actually able to get this on the same Whatnot stream as as Anchorman, so that was pretty cool to knock a few of them out right there. I believe this was around $2 or $3, pretty common title, so didn't have to pay too much for that. And then, like I said, when we were talking about the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, I do collect all of Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies, and hadn't got this one yet. I had been seeing it around, had kind of kicked it around, and thought about getting it for a little bit, but decided to buy some other movies before I got this one, and finally added this one to the collection, and that is Last Stand. I haven't seen it yet. I'm really looking forward to watching it. This looks like a older Arnold in this movie, so very excited to see how that goes. And it looks like Johnny Knoxville may be in this. It says Actor Cam Anarchy with Johnny Knoxville, so that'd be pretty cool if Johnny Knoxville's in here too. Big Jackass fan, so getting some Schwarzenegger and some Johnny Knoxville in there. Then up next, I also picked up Deadpool 2. I needed this to complete the Deadpool trilogy. I had the first one and the third one, but just had not picked up the second one yet. Mainly because every time I see it, it's a little more pricey than I want to pay for. At my local game exchange, they have it priced at like $12.99 like they do with all their superhero movies, and I didn't want to pay that. And then seeing it on eBay, it was either the double pack with the first movie or just kind of a $10, which I didn't really want to pay for it. Played a little bit of long game and ended up getting it for $2 on Whatnot, so hard to beat that. And then up next, we got a childhood classic. We got Open Season. I love this movie. Grew up watching this movie on my little portable DVD player. Probably burnt that disc out as many times as I've seen this movie. I really do like this movie. I think it's a great, underrated animated movie from the early 2000s. I believe my grandma got me this for Valentine's Day when I was a kid, and I, like I said, wore it out in the portable DVD player. So very cool to finally have Open Season again. That's one I've been wanting to get. And courtesy of Whatnot, we finally have it. And then another childhood classic, we got Monsters, Inc. So when I was bidding on this, I did not see these region codes on the disc, on the cover here. And I didn't see it till after the bidding was over. And I was like, man, I think I just messed up and goofed. And now I have a copy of Monsters, Inc. that isn't going to play on my player. I don't know what I'm going to do with this because it's going to be hard to sell because it is region free. And if I sell it outside of the region, I'm going to eat the shipping cost and basically just pretty much be paying somebody to take it away. It turns out that this is region A, B, and C. So it worked out. I Googled it after I bought it, just kind of hoping, that was the case. Said it was, so I was like, I'll wait for it to get here and see if it plays on my PlayStation that I watch movies on. Thankfully, it does. So have a useful copy of Monsters, Inc., and I'm very excited because it was only $4. I think everybody else had paid attention, unlike me, and saw those region codes at the bottom there and didn't want to buy it because they thought it was, region B, but turns out it's region A, B, and C, so we're all good to go on that front. Finally got a copy of Monsters, Inc. Then up next, we got Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days. This is one I had been needing. I have, you guys saw it last month in December, I picked up the first Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and I've already had Roderick Rules, so I'm very excited to finally get Dog Days, even though the cover is a little bit crappy there. You can kind of tell right up here. Kind of got a little bit of water damage, so might have to rebuy this movie, which isn't the hugest deal. It is a pretty cheap movie to get. I was, I saw it on Whatnot for cheaper than it normally is, even though it's already a pretty cheap movie, so decided to go ahead and get it, but looks like we might have to get it again, or at least find some cover art that isn't water damaged right there. I like to have nice, pristine cover art, so that is not ideal, but we'll fix it eventually. And then up next, another little part 2 from last month. If you guys watched, I picked up the first Night at the Museum and said I was going to get Battle of the Smithsonian and then probably not get the third one because I didn't really watch that one as a kid. It was mainly the first 2 that I watched. So I picked up Battle of the Smithsonian, and it came with a nice slipcover, really nice slipcover, and it's in good condition. I think I picked this up for $3 or $4, so very excited to finally have the complete Night at the Museum collection that's going to be in my collection. Not the complete series, but just more so the complete collection that's going to be in my collection, and that's the first 2. Then we get a little more Schwarzenegger here. I picked up Maggie. Got this for pretty cheap. This is another one of those, kind of like Last Stand, where I had been wanting to get it for a while, but I haven't seen it, and it's not one of those that's more like Total Recall, Eraser, Last Action Hero, or Kindergarten Cop, where I had grew up watching those movies. So those are the ones I prioritized getting first. And now I'm kind of making my way to these newer Schwarzenegger movies where he's a little bit older, and I haven't seen them yet. So I'm excited to finally give this one and Last Stand a watch. This one looks pretty interesting. Just on the cover art and the description I've read. Very excited. I think I actually watched the trailer for this. It was on Prime Video maybe, and I watched the trailer for this, and it looks pretty interesting, so very excited to give that a watch. And then keeping the Will Ferrell train going here, picked up Old School. Love this movie. I had been trying to get this one for a while. It normally... people bid on this one quite a bit on Whatnot, so I ended up having to pay like $5 or $6 for this one. Not a huge deal. That's still a really good price. That's about what it goes for on eBay. I had already bought a couple of things on the stream anyway, so the shipping price was already down for me. It may have been free already, I don't really remember, but was able to snag Old School for $5 or $6. Don't really remember, but still a good deal on that one. We love that movie. Next up, I picked up The Bucket List. This is one I had been wanting to add for a little bit to my collection. I need to rewatch this one. I've been wanting to rewatch it for a little bit. I watched it when I was like maybe 12 or 13, so I didn't really quite appreciate it as much as I should. I was more into like the Will Ferrell comedies and stuff at that time. And I do remember enjoying it even at that age, so I'm kind of excited to give it a watch as a 26-year-old who's a little more mature and excited to watch movies like this. So very excited to finally check out Bucket List again. Then up next, this is one that I've been wanting for a very long time, and that is Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. Love The Lonely Island Boys, and I love this movie, so I was very excited to finally get it. I was very surprised to get this on Whatnot. This normally goes on eBay for anywhere from $10 to $15 in this condition with the slipcover. I was surprised it had the slipcover and surprised nobody really tried to bid with me on it. I think I ended up getting it for $4, which is awesome. A little bit of long game there paid off because I've almost bit the bullet on this quite a few times at the $10 to $15 price range, but just never did. And it turned out to work out in my favor because I ended up getting it for $4. So very excited to finally have that. Up next, we got another classic cartoon from my childhood, and we're getting towards the last of the Whatnot things here. I picked up Megamind. This is the only Megamind movie, in my opinion. The second one is terrible. I don't know why they released that if that's what they were going to do. Terrible, terrible movie. But this one I really do enjoy. I saw this in theaters when I was a kid and have loved it since. I've always had an affinity for Megamind. Always a soft spot for that one. Then another movie I have a soft spot for, and that is the animated Robin Hood. This one, I love this movie. This is one of those that we would watch when it was raining outside and we couldn't go outside to play during recess. They would roll out the TV, and this is 9 times out of 10 the movie we watched is this Robin Hood. So very excited to get this. I paid a little bit more than I probably should have. I think I ended up paying $9 or $10, which still isn't bad, but kind of the heat of the bid, I guess, it got into me when I was bidding on this, and I just kept bidding against somebody and eventually won it at I want to say $9 or $10, but very excited to finally have that one. Then up next, another classic early 2000s cartoon is Horton Hears a Who. I also saw this in theaters, so love this one. This is a great one. My grandma took me to see it when I was a kid, so definitely have a soft spot for Horton Hears a Who as well. Been meaning to add it to my collection for a while, and that's kind of the theme of this month, I guess, is grabbing stuff from Whatnot that I had been meaning to add because it was cheap. So Horton Hears a Who, no exception there. Finally got that one. And then the last of the Whatnot stuff, I picked up Miracle with Kurt Russell. Probably my favorite hockey movie of all time. I love this movie. Kurt Russell is amazing in this, and it just gets you hyped up. Even though I've never played hockey in my life, this movie gets me hyped up and makes me want to get out there on the ice and take on the Russians. But yeah, I really do love this movie. Very excited to finally get it. Not an expensive movie by any means, but like I said earlier, you on Whatnot, you rack up purchases and your shipping goes down as you do. So was able to score this for $2 or $3 straight up, which is a pretty good deal on that movie. Very excited to finally get Miracle. Next up, we're going to go through my in-person pickups. I got all of these at Game Exchange. They do the buy two, get one free, as I've said in previous videos, so that's typically where I get my used media. Yeah, we'll go ahead and jump into those. First up, I picked up Click. I had been wanting this one for a while too, and finally saw it there for $5.99. Decided to go ahead and grab that, and it came in a kind of a different case. I'm guessing this was a collector who kind of sold off their collection and had kind of changed some of their cases out. Maybe the cases weren't in great shape, just because it's in kind of this different case there. It doesn't have the Blu-ray logo at the top. It says Blu-ray disc, and it's a little thicker if you guys can tell. So definitely think this belonged to a collector because it was in really nice shape, and I think they probably just sold their collection. Got the inside artwork there, pretty cool. Finally got Click. This movie will make you cry if you haven't seen it. I highly recommend it, though I'm sure 99% of you have seen Click at this point. Different movie from Adam Sandler, and one I really enjoyed. And then I finally picked up Ted and Ted 2. Been wanting this one for a little bit too. I had seen, so Game Exchange usually has either Ted or Ted 2. I mean, they have both usually, but it's like the on separate disc, and I've kind of just wanted to get this one on the little 2-disc collection here just to save some shelf space. You know, when you get into collecting Blu-rays pretty hardcore, you run low on shelf space, so I like to kind of save it as much as I can. And I had seen them have this one before, but I passed it up and then was going to get it the next time I went, because normally stuff will stick around there for a little bit. Not this one. This one was gone the next time I went. And so when I saw it this time, I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab it and get the 2-pack there, just to get Ted and Ted 2 on the same disc. Like I said, save some shelf space and add those to the collection. Then up next, I picked up Logan's Run. Haven't seen this, but I've been told I would like it by some of my friends who have seen it and know my taste in movies. Been told I would like this one. I'm a huge sci-fi fan, especially from the late 70s, 80s, and 90s. Right up my alley, so I'm very excited to finally give this one a watch. Probably going to do that this week. Just got to get around to it. Didn't get to watch many movies this last week, so hopefully this week we can finally watch Logan's Run. Then the Will Ferrell hits keep on playing. I finally picked up The Campaign. This is one of my favorite newer Will Ferrell movies, and I say newer. This is probably over 10 years old now, but still really do love this movie. Zach Galifianakis and Will Ferrell is an awesome combination and always gets a laugh out of me. Love this movie. Then up next, one I want to watch this week as well, and that is Chronicle. I've been told this is a great found footage style movie, really unique found footage style movie, so I'm very excited to finally watch this. It came in the Blockbuster style case, so I had to switch the case out there, and the only case I had was this clear case. I think it looks pretty cool, but had to switch the case out there. If you're wondering why it's in a clear case, it's because it came in the Blockbuster case, and I don't like the way those look on the shelf since they're a little bit bigger, and I wanted to get it nice and uniform with the rest of the collection, and only had a clear case, so turned out pretty good. Very excited to watch that one. Probably going to watch that one this weekend too. Very excited to get into that. And then some more Schwarzenegger. Sabotage. This is one I forgot even existed. I haven't seen it, haven't really heard anything about it. Kind of looks like an Expendables style movie, I'm guessing. Very excited to give it a watch though. I mean, it has Schwarzenegger in it, so probably going to enjoy it and see what that's all about. Looks like it's from the people that made End of Watch, and I enjoyed End of Watch, so hopefully I enjoy this one as well. Next up, this is probably the one I was pretty excited, not the most excited to see, but probably one of my favorite pickups of the month is She's the Man with Channing Tatum and Amanda Bynes. I love these early 2000s comedy, rom-com kind of movies. You guys saw last month I picked up the Agent Cody Banks and Big Fat Liar, so very excited to finally get She's the Man. That group of movies, I don't know if you can even group them together, but in my mind, they group together for like that early 2000s nostalgia, and I remember like watching these with my cousin when we would stay up late when we had sleepovers and watching these kind of movies. So very excited to finally get She's the Man. I was very happy to see that on the shelf. That's not one you see a whole lot. Then up next, some more early 2000s goodness here. We got The Condemned with Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is one of those movies that if you had told me it had come out in the 80s, I would believe you, because it's very 80s, 90s action movie, trash inspired. Right up my alley is something I enjoy. I especially love the end scene when he comes home and Nickelback's playing in the background. I think that's probably the best part of the movie in my opinion. It's just kind of jarring from the rest. Not jarring, but just kind of silly from the rest of the movie. I definitely like this movie a lot. Even if it is not the greatest movie, like I said, I love bad 80s and 90s action movies, and something that came out in the early 2000s that definitely captures that spirit in my opinion, so very excited to finally get The Condemned. And then the thing I was most excited to see at Game Exchange was this Old Dogs. So I had bid on this on Whatnot and lost out to somebody. And I was like, dang, now I gotta go try to find this, and was gonna buy it on eBay, and then decided to go to Game Exchange, and pick up the rest of this stuff. And lo and behold, Old Dogs is sitting on the shelf. I've never seen this in person before, so I was very excited to finally get this. I've wanted this movie for quite a while, and then seeing it on Whatnot kind of reminded me, oh man, I do want that movie. So being able to find it at Game Exchange in person, and I think it was $5.99. Great deal on this. I think it went for $12 on the Whatnot stream I was watching. Patience paid off there. Didn't get caught up in the heat of the bid, and that paid off. So finally able to add Old Dogs, John Travolta and Robin Williams. Great old classic movie. Not old, but early 2000s, like we've been talking about. We're into the Amazon, eBay, Hamilton book section of the purchases. The first thing I picked up was La La Land. Recently watched this. I had watched Robot Dreams and then saw some people on Letterboxd saying that Robot Dreams is basically La La Land with an animated dog and a robot. I was like, well, if that's the case, I'll check out La La Land and see how I like that. And I really enjoyed La La Land. Not typically a huge fan of musicals, but this is a good one. I really like the slipcover on this as well. But yeah, really enjoyed La La Land. Like I said, not typically a fan of musicals, but thoroughly enjoyed this one. Up next, this is a Hamilton book purchase. Picked up Collateral. This is a great movie with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. I'd been wanting to watch it for a little bit. When I saw it on Hamilton Books for $5, I decided to go ahead and pull the trigger on that. If you haven't seen this one, I do really recommend it. Full of a lot of twists and turns that really keep you guessing, and it's a really fun one to watch. Definitely recommend seeing Collateral if you have not seen that. Then up next, another Hamilton Books purchase, and this is a really Hamilton Books style movie. If you know, you know. So when I was looking at this movie, I wasn't really paying attention and just saw Norris and Swayze name on there, and I was like, oh man, this has Chuck Norris and Patrick Swayze. How have I never heard of this? Didn't really pay attention to the cover, just saw it was called Death Ring, read the description and clicked purchase. Kind of a late night Hamilton Books purchase where I wasn't really paying attention. I get it in the mail and look at the cover, and I'm like, that does not look like Patrick Swayze or Chuck Norris. Well, come to find out, it's because it's Chuck Norris's son and Patrick Swayze's brother that star in this. Kind of a really 90s-esque style action movie. Not the greatest movie, but it's still fun to watch if you're into that type of thing. I do recommend watching it if you're into that type of thing. It's kind of one of those you just turn your mind off and throw all logic out the window. Chuck Norris's son is not a great actor. I'm going to go ahead and warn you about that before you do decide to watch this movie. But it kind of makes it that much more enjoyable. I mean, his martial arts are great, just like his dad, but definitely not great acting chops from him. And Patrick Swayze's brother is definitely the best part of this movie. And but it's still a fun one, still a good one to watch and turn your mind off to on a Saturday night. Then up next, I picked up Lost in Translation. I got this one from Amazon. It was going for pretty cheap. I think they had one of those like 20% off type things on it. I had been wanting to see it for a little bit, and I gotta say, I was not impressed. A lot of people hyped this movie up, and I did enjoy Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson's performances, but that was about the extent of my enjoyment of this movie. Kind of just one of those movies that, not for me, definitely not for me. But I did enjoy Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson's performances. Just not for me is all I'm going to say. Not saying it's a bad movie or anything like that. Just definitely not something I would probably watch again. Maybe I will and have a new opinion of it later. Maybe it's because I was expecting it to be so great and then ended up not really enjoying it as much as I thought I would. But might give it a rewatch knowing what I know now of what the movie actually is. And maybe I'll like it a little more. Then up next, probably my priciest purchase of the month, that is Red Sonja. This does not have a U.S. release, so I believe this is a German release. I haven't seen this. It looks very Conan the Barbarian-esque, and like I've said a million times, I'm collecting all of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, so was eventually going to have to bite the bullet and buy this. I was kind of hoping it would get like a Arrow video or something, release. This seems like a title they would definitely be willing to do. It just seems very Arrow Video, Kino Lorber kind of esque, but decided to just go ahead and get it just in case they don't do that, and I'll have it in my collection because I'm getting very close to having all of the Arnold Schwarzenegger where he's the lead anyway. I don't really do movies where he's the side characters. It's mainly just movies where he's the lead, and so I needed this one. Very excited to check it out. I love Conan the Barbarian, so this kind of looks like it's going to be in the same vein. Then up next, I picked up Roadhouse. Surprisingly, had not seen this, which is very crazy considering I'm a huge fan of like 80s and 90s action movies, as I've said also a million times. But this is one of my new favorite movies. I loved Patrick Swayze in this movie, and this movie kind of inspired me to go the Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jean-Claude Van Damme route, where I'd collect all his movies. After seeing this, I was like, yeah, Patrick Swayze's he's the man. He does a very good job in this movie, and you guys will see next month that I kind of went a little crazy with the Patrick Swayze movies, but that's all right. Since we're getting towards the end of the Schwarzenegger movies, this will kind of give me something else to work towards, a goal to work towards in the collection is getting all of Patrick Swayze movies, and I've been watching a lot of them recently, and I'm very impressed. I have a newfound respect for him. I think he's a great actor and just a really talented guy. It's a shame we lost him so young. I'd love to see what he could do now, but loved Roadhouse, probably in my top 10 movies of all time now. Then up next, another Schwarzenegger movie. I do already have this one, but I didn't have it on 4K, and it was $10 on Amazon, so I decided to go ahead and upgrade to the 4K of Total Recall. I do like this cover art better than the Blu-ray version I have as well, so that was kind of another selling point on that. I mean, it was $10 for a 4K of my favorite Schwarzenegger movie of all time, so was gonna get it anyway regardless of the cover photo, but very happy to finally have this on 4K. Probably gonna keep my Blu-ray version as well, just to kind of have a copy in case something were to happen to this. I still have a copy of Total Recall. Total Recall is one of those movies that I'll buy again and again and again because, like I said, my favorite Schwarzenegger movie, so definitely will buy that one in a couple of formats. Then up next, a pain in the butt to get. Not that it's hard to find or anything, just Amazon being Amazon and losing this, saying it was undeliverable. I'm guessing it got destroyed in the original shipping process when I first purchased this in the middle of December. Was not able to get it. Had to wait 2 or 3 weeks to get a refund so I could repurchase it, just out of principle. I mean, I could have bought it again, but out of principle, I was like, no, I'm going to wait, and they're going to give me my money back, and I'm going to buy it then. And eventually got this. This is something I've been wanting to add to the collection for a while. I was originally going to get the 6-movie version of this, but I found Puss in Boots: The Last Wish on 4K for really cheap when it was on the Black Friday deals, so I just decided I'm going to go ahead and get the first Puss in Boots on 4K too. It's usually pretty cheap as well, and I'll just get the 4-film Shrek collection, and then when Shrek 5 eventually comes out, I'll just get it by itself. But nice little shelf space saver here, the 4-film Shrek collection. Everybody loves Shrek, so I had to have that. Then to end the month, we got a new release that I've seen a lot of people picking up, and for very good reason. This movie is incredible. The Substance, Demi Moore does a really great job in this movie. Really unique body horror movie. If you're into body horror, I definitely recommend this. Even if you're not into body horror, this is just a really fun, well shot, well acted movie by everybody involved. It's a lot of fun. Kind of reminds me of A Different Man with Sebastian Stan, if you've seen that, but I actually like this quite a bit better than I like The Different Man. This one is a lot of fun, very unique. Hopefully we get more movies like this coming out that, kind of get really popular, so that way we get more unique, crazy movies made like this. I really enjoyed this one. I actually subscribed to a movie right there just to watch this movie because I had heard so many good things about it. Definitely worth it if you want to do that before deciding to pick up the 4K, but I definitely recommend just picking it up because you're gonna want to pick it up after you watch it. Very awesome movie. Very good performances. That's it, guys. That's everything I picked up this month. I wanted to thank you guys for getting me to 100 subscribers. No, it's not a crazy amount or anything, but still appreciate you guys wanting to come along on the collection journey and joining me and sharing my collection with me and seeing it grow. That means a lot. So appreciate that. And if you're into action figures, definitely go ahead and hit subscribe as well because that's going to be the next video coming out after this one. I'm going to do a January action figure haul. And I picked up quite a bit of stuff, had a lot of pre-orders come in, got some really cool stuff I had been waiting for a while. So definitely go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss that, and so you don't miss the overload of Patrick Swayze movies next month. Definitely been picking up a lot of movies this month as well here in February, so very excited for the next haul video to show you guys all of that. Got a lot of new releases and a lot of Patrick Swayze movies, so definitely hit subscribe so you don't miss that. But I'm going to get out of here, guys. I'm done rambling. Feel like I've rambled quite a bit this video, but appreciate you guys for sticking around for all the rambling. You've been phenomenal. I've been T-Rey, and I will see you in the next one.